welcome to this platform where I teach the discipline of work. My name is Yen, and today I'll be teaching on the topic how to handle a task. But let me start with the basics of work. I mean, we come from a society where generally we've been taught that work is a punishment. And so when you are in school, you commit a crime or you do something wrong, they take you out there and try to give you some job to do. In our homes, they give you work when you break the rules. And so after some years of going through this, we grow up thinking that work is a punishment, and it is only those who have need, especially the poor people, who are supposed to work. And so we only work because we want to earn. And that has affected our mindset and how we approach tasks, which largely also determines how successful we become in terms of our work. Most importantly, it affects our productivity and the way that we do things. So I would like to start with that. You see, work is not a punishment. Work is an opportunity. It's an opportunity to do something for yourself, for your family, for God, for your society. Any beautiful thing you can see in your environment, from the creation of this world to the new things and innovations that are done every day, is work. Someone had to work today to prepare the food that you eat. Someone had to work to teach you the things that you learn. I'm trying to do some work here to teach you some of the things that I'm about to teach you today. The buildings in your community were all the handiwork of people. The difference between your community and, for example, New York is work. People put in some attention to detail in the work that they did over there, and probably your community didn't have that level of detail in the kind of infrastructure that are put out there. So the difference between great things in our communities and substandard facilities and staff is just work, which also means that if we learn to be very productive in how we deliver our tasks, we could as well build our society the same way that others have done in advanced countries. So that is why this is so important to me. And the first thing I want you to embrace wholeheartedly is that work is an opportunity. It's not a punishment. This simple truth will change your life. Because if you believe that it is an opportunity, you will invest yourself in it. If you believe that it's an opportunity, you will love what you do because you know that it will bring benefits. Now, why is work an opportunity? For every task assigned to you, it brings at least 3 opportunities. Okay, the first is an opportunity to learn something. Most of the tasks that we assign to you are not things you know already. So it requires that you will have to learn some skills, some new skills that previously you were not taught or you didn't know in order to execute the current task. And so work presents an opportunity to learn. Then second, work also presents an opportunity to do something special. Okay, if you give me a task, it could give me an opportunity to produce something that has never been done before. Discovery, an innovation, a new solution that could change society forever or change my life forever. And so that is a huge opportunity. Every simple task given to you presents an opportunity to change the circumstances around you in a way that has never been done before and to produce something special that has never been done before. And then finally, work gives opportunity to earn something more. Maybe you are already on a salary, but depending on the level of attention and detail and the diligence you put into your work, sometimes you can earn a little bit more than you were supposed to be paid initially, depending on how you put yourself in the work. Okay, so because of this, we need to learn how to handle tasks. Okay, first of all, I said that work is an opportunity, and then I said work presents at least 3 opportunities. Okay, now because it is an opportunity, You have to earn your tasks. Okay, you need to earn your work, especially if you're an intern or national service personnel in the workplace. It is important that you know how to earn tasks, because sometimes you are many. Maybe let's say you are 6 or 7 interns working with one supervisor. Why should he assign you the task when he can assign it to other young people in the same group? Okay, it has to be that you position yourself well to earn the task. So how do you earn a task? 3 things. You can earn a task based on your attitude in previous tasks that were assigned to you. So anytime a new task comes up, and I'm the supervisor, for example, I will look at all the interns or national service personnel or early career workers, or even the team around me, and try to identify those who presented themselves very well during the previous task that I assigned. So if you did very well in the previous task, you invested yourself, you worked diligently, and you produced very good work, chances are that the next task you'll be remembered, right? Then you may also earn a task based on experience. If you have experience in executing similar tasks, and your supervisor knows about it, he may want to assign you the task because you come ready to work. And then finally, if you are someone who is willing to learn, in fact, that supersedes the first 2. If you are someone who is willing to learn and improve, usually you'll be assigned a task, because the supervisor knows that even if you don't have the skills, you are willing to learn new things and to put in the work. Okay, so to earn your task, you need to have these 3 things in place. Show good attitude in every task assigned to you, whether the initial task was as menial as sending you to go and buy food, or it was something as important as developing a business proposal. It doesn't matter. Put in your best, because the next task will be assigned to you based on how well you do in this current one. And the experiences that you have, make them known to your supervisor and your teammates, so that when a task comes up, they will remember you. And then finally, you should be someone who is willing to learn, right? So once you have earned the task, the next stage is to receive the task. Okay, how do you receive work or a task as a national service personnel or intern in the workplace? Okay, your supervisor says, hey, I have a task, come and let's discuss. When you get there, what do? Number 1, you listen. So just keep quiet, pay attention, close your notebook, and just listen. Listen to him present the task the way he wants it done to you. And then after he's done speaking, you open your notebook and write down what you remember from what he has said. Then after that, repeat what you've written to him to see if you captured exactly what he wants. In the process of reading that to him, if you missed something, he will clarify it, and then you can capture that to complete your notes. And then once you are done, now you can ask for clarification, you can make suggestions, and you can even ask questions based on how you capture the information and what your thoughts are. But you listen first, you capture down the notes before you ask for clarification. So these are the 3 steps that you follow. Don't interrupt when he speaks. Just listen first, and then you write down, and then you can ask questions. I think every supervisor will be very happy with this, and he will be willing to teach. Right. Now, once you have received the task, the next stage is to execute it. How do you execute tasks? Okay. One thing I see that many people don't do is to actually think about how to plan a task before you start working. Once you give people work, they start working. And that is not usually the best way to go. You need to have a plan. And the plan should start with you, first of all, finding out if a similar task has been done already by someone. There's nothing new under the sun. Okay, there's no any task assigned to you today that has never been assigned to anyone. All right. So you can ask your supervisor to give you a sample of similar work that has been done. You can ask your colleagues at work. You can Google. Okay. For example, I asked you to develop a business proposal on let's say a project. You've never written a business proposal. But I mean, many people have written business proposals. There are samples online. Your supervisor probably has samples of business proposals done in the company already. And your colleagues probably have done similar work, or senior colleagues at work have already done similar work. The first thing you need to do is to go find 3 samples of similar work that has been done. 3 samples. Okay, you can find the 3 samples from different sources. Maybe one from the company, one from your colleagues, one from the web, or anywhere that you can trust, a database that you can trust. That is where you start from, okay? With that, at least you know what you've been asked to do, the output, how it should look like. You know that already, and that is where you start, okay? So after you've been able to determine that, the next thing is to classify the skills required to execute that task. And usually you can classify the skills into 3. There are skills required to execute the task that you already have. Okay, so you write that down. And then there are skills that you don't have, but colleagues around you, you know for sure that they have that skill already. You write that down too. And then the third set of skills are skills that you have not developed. Your colleagues at work probably do not know anything about them. But you need them to be able to produce this work. And so those are skills you are going to learn. So you write that down. So that gives you 3 sets of skills. Skills you have now, skills your colleagues can help with, and then skills that you need to learn. So what do? You move on to the third stage, which is classifying the task. So you've classified the skills, now you classify the task. The task will also naturally fall into these 3 groups. So there's an aspect of the task that you can do now with the skills that you have. And then there's an aspect that probably you don't know what to do, but you know that colleagues at work have probably gone through the same process, and so they can help with that. And then there's an aspect that you really need to learn some new skills to be able to do, to be able to execute. And those will require the new skills that you're about to learn. So you start by applying the skills that you have on the task. Okay, so you work to the best of your ability. That gives you an initial draft. You do that quickly, okay, because you have the skills already. So once you are done with that, you keep that as a draft. The good thing is, if your supervisor needs an update, you can readily produce an update or provide an update to him because you've already done something on the work, right? Now you move on to the next stage. The skills that colleagues around you or people in your networks already have, you approach them to help give you some ideas or clarification on how to execute the parts that you classified as an aspect that they could help. Okay, so you move on to that stage. Now, usually colleagues are busy. People in your networks, your friends that you were dependent on for that aspect of the work, they will be busy, but you let them know. And whilst they are preparing or they give you time to wait for their help, you use that period to learn the new skills that are required to execute the task, right? So everything is going on well. You have an initial draft. Your colleagues have been informed, and you found someone who is willing to help you through, and then you are also learning the skills, right? So you learn the skills, apply the skills to the aspects that needed new skills. Then you get some help from some colleagues to take care of the third aspect of the work. And once you are done with this, you will have the first full draft. That is not what you submit. Okay, the first full draft is usually disjointed because you are combining at least 3 or 4 different sets of skills from different sources into one document or into one job. And so they will not be all coordinated together very well. So you move on to improve the flow. Okay, put everything together in a very nice flowing way. Okay, and then once you've done the second draft, the third stage is for you to look at the work and see how you can improve it to be better than the samples you started with. Okay, if you've been looking at 3 samples, chances are that you have an idea of what you can do to add value to the 3 samples that you started with. So your initial goal was to reach the level of the 3 samples, and you've been able to reach that, right? So now you have a little bit of time. So you look at your work and see if there's a way you could improve it a little bit more to be better than the 3 samples that you started with. And if you are able to improve to this level, your supervisor will be really happy with you because he wasn't expecting you to go this far, right? So when you meet your supervisor, you present this one first to him, and then after that, you present the second draft, the final draft that you had, which include the innovations that you came up with. And most of the time, your supervisor will buy into most of the new ideas that you are coming up with because, first of all, you met his target before you added a little bit more. And any supervisor would feel a little bit indebted to you if every time you can exceed your target a little bit more. So that also becomes an investment for you to earn the next task, right? Because you've made him feel that he owes you another task or something because you've been delivering beyond his expectations. And that is exactly what you want to do. So these are some basic ideas on how to receive and execute a task. But if there's one thing you should leave this class with, it is that work is an opportunity. And if it's an opportunity, it has to be earned. And so always appreciate any work that is given to you. It is an opportunity given to you. It is probably more valuable than if someone just gave you money, because money won't give you all the other opportunities that I mentioned that work will give you. Thank you very much for joining me today. I wish you all the best.